But then the last goal that got, and that was the other one. Like, can we talk about like that last goal? That's the most animated I've ever seen Vino after a goal.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's usually kind of looks up, kind of whatever he does, but this was like he came out of his net.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk? Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And whether it comes up or not, we'll see. But hey there, sports fans. We're back. It's another episode of Dinner with the Captain. I'm John Dinner, and we're here as always with Captain Steve Priolo, captain of the Buffalo Bandits, the National Lacrosse League's 3-time defending champions. I don't know, is it Slump Buster time again?
Oh, it's half Slump Buster. I got a non-alcoholic Corona right here.
All right, we're doing anything we can to change things up here.
Yeah,
and,
well, we had the Slump Buster, and then we beat Halifax, and then we didn't have one last week, and here we are. So,
yeah, tough game in Vancouver, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But I know what's on the front of most people's minds is we're here doing this on a Monday afternoon, and we just saw the closing of the Olympics and 2 real tough hockey games. As much as we love lacrosse, obviously we're big sports fans, and those captured the attention of a lot of people. Is that stuff that, like, I know you guys are getting ready for lacrosse, and again, I know that one of the reasons we do this podcast is because of the lives that many lacrosse players lead outside of being professional athletes. But how much are you guys talking Olympics?
we watched all the Olympics.
Like,
yeah.
and is it like a topic of conversation when you guys are getting stretched out and doing those kinds of things?
Honestly, it's whatever the big sporting event that's on is we're talking about in our locker room, and it's the last 2 weeks been the Olympics, but it's football when it needs to be football, and it's not too much basketball. I'm usually the one pushing for basketball. Hey, do you guys see all the trades? And they're like, no, we watch hockey.
And now, I mean, obviously you play in Buffalo, but I mean, a large majority of the roster is Canadian and stuff like that. And so what is that sort of like during a time when it's international competition?
Well, it was like watching the game together with Connor Farrell, like the whole time he's just cheering for whoever team's playing Canada, right? Yeah. So like he's just cheering for Finland, and it's that same sort of camaraderie and rivalry, right, of Canada US and with Belter and Farrell, being very loud personalities in the room, and then also like laser focused on sports. Like Belter follows sports, like he's like a stat guy, right? And then the rest of us just being Canadians, and it's not like tension, but it's a good back and forth.
So that game, obviously, and we'll probably focus mostly on the men's game. I think the women's game, both games, fantastic. Highest level of hockey I've ever seen, and I'm a big sports guy, and I'd like to think that I've kind of been in and around watching it with a good eye for a number of years, that those were 2 incredible hockey games. But the women, they hung around, the Canadian women hung around against a team that was probably on paper and even on the ice maybe a little bit better than they were, just had a little bit more of that je ne sais quoi that just takes that to the next level, but full credit to them for hanging in there and taking it to overtime. But I don't think anybody was too surprised to see the American women then pull that out. On the other side of it, you've got the Canadian men seemingly dominating almost from the puck drop, but certainly the second and third periods, and then not able to pull it out. Like, I mean, you've been part of those games before in your careers and stuff like that. What does that feel like to know you won the battle, but you didn't win the war, or you won the war, but you didn't win the battle? Like, what's...
Yeah, it's Canada did it. They did everything right except win the game. And I don't know about you, but it ruined my Sunday. like it was so early in the morning, you're drinking coffees, you're hanging out, you're watching the game. Like, it's so exciting. And then, your team loses, and it feels not, I don't want to get political or anything on here, but it felt like the Frozen Four, whatever was that? The Nations
Four Nations Cup.
Four Nations Cup. Like, it felt like that same sort of rivalry, right? That it was like countries fighting.
Yeah,
like that's what it felt like, and to lose, right, and to see the Kachuk brothers and everybody, and I love the Kachuk brothers, and I love the players on their team, but it just felt like kind of gut wrenching, right? You're sitting there going like, oh man. I know it's just a hockey game, but I feel terrible now.
Well, and so, as Sunday as it turned out, I shouted him out on our last podcast, but that was my son's birthday, and so for an hour or so there, the Americans had ruined his birthday as far as he was concerned.
My nephew cried.
Yeah.
He's crying. He's 5. Like, what are we doing?
And I mean, I think that also speaks to the investment that, I mean, certainly our circle of friends and the people that were around invest into sports and the time and the energy and that kind of stuff. But then also just understanding that feeling that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know, for example, like you go all the way back to pre-COVID days. And you guys losing in that championship. And you've talked about that was something that was a bit of a catalyst that sort of got you guys going. And then, of course, you come out of it and you lose to Colorado, but that even almost seemed to galvanize you guys some more to go on this run that you've had for the last 3 years. But then you look at it and it's like, man, 5 consecutive trips to the championships. Like, can you remember those times still, what it was like to lose those games in where you might have felt like on paper and even on the floor you were the better teams?
Yeah, but it's hard to like wrap your mind around it because you're almost in shock that it's over, right? And I'm sure the Canadians are feeling that way right now too, where it's like you haven't processed it yet. You're like, it's the like an opportunity that's a seemingly once in a lifetime, right? Especially you think about it as like 2022. Like, you're never going to win the 2022 championship again. So it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? But it goes on and you get a chance at 2023 and 2024 and 5. And same with the Canadians is, it feels like the opportunity is never going to come again and you just blew something that is a once in a lifetime opportunity. But, Celebrini and these kids, man, like he has such a bright future. He was so incredible to watch. Whew. So fun and it's going to be interesting to see if Bedard's on that team in the future and just how they structure it. And there's going to be next Olympics in 4 years. Like, it feels like the end of an era because I think that an older team and you're seeing like
Crosby's
going to be done.
You think back to 2010, like 16 years ago, right? Like,
yeah, and I think that's where it comes from. Where this loss felt like it should have been a changing of the guard of like a passing of the torch sort of thing, and it's like it feels just over and. Crosby's Olympic career is now it's probably going to be done, and you're it feels like empty or gut wrenching in a way, right? And it's like it wasn't supposed to happen that way. Like the script was wrong.
And then that takes me to a question that I thought about. Right? Is I mean obviously Crosby's the captain of the Canadian team and he's injured. Like he doesn't have to give the captaincy to McDavid. Right? Like there seemed to be some of that sort of passing of the torch happening. Like there's no, like in the Olympics, you don't have to have a guy with a C on your jersey as far as I know.
Yeah,
right?
Like, I don't know. I guess not.
Like, is that ever been something that crossed your mind in like, I need to maybe pass the C off to somebody else while I'm out or I'm injured or anything like that's ever gone on?
Oh, we're getting deep.
Yeah, I'm not talking end of career stuff, but like I'm just talking like in the past.
Dude, I think about it every time we lose. I'm like, does anybody else want to wear this damn thing?
I do not want to go talk to TSN.
I do not want to talk. I don't know, man. I do think, honestly, I know I'm joking, but I do think about it basically weekly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you question yourself, like, am I doing everything right? Am I, should Dane be captain? Like, I think about that a lot. Like, what if I just didn't wear a letter? Would I just have to just think about playing? Is that better or worse for the team? I do think like I offer a lot, but can I still offer that if I wasn't the captain? Is there ever going to be a time where I still want to keep playing, but the next guy in line should be the leader of this team and I should start taking a role position? And when does that time start happening? Now, I reflect on this a lot, and I don't think that time is yet. And I think Dane is mature enough to know that he is a leader on this team. He is maybe the leader on this team.
Well, when you talk about like putting the team on his back, right? Just inherently from the position that he plays, it's sort of conceptually a little bit easier, right? But I would think from outside looking in, and obviously we've got a pretty close relationship, but I think it's still very much your team. Right, like it's that.
In what way though? Like when you think about locker room stuff and you think about this and that, like Dane is a big personality. He's a very well loved and liked person. He's very well respected. I don't think that he cares who has the C or who does whatever. I know he's mature enough and he's done enough in his career and he gets the accolades from the league and from other places, and I think he does feel well well loved and well respected on our team. So I don't think this is not coming from him at all. He's never said this to me or anything, right?
Yep.
So I don't think he's like hunting to try to be the captain, right? But in my position, I think I should be looking at that a lot, where it's like, if you want to be the captain of the team, it's what's the best position to put the team in, right? And you know, on some level, a letter doesn't really matter. It's the personalities that follow it, and it's how you carry yourself. But can you bring somebody? Can you elevate their game by redistributing the letters and doing things like that?
And so I think that's where I was going with that question is like, from the outside looking in, and as someone that wears the C, like, do you think that was a benefit to the Canadian men's national team for Crosby to have done that and given McDavid the captaincy, or like him still being, because he was showing up, as we hear, he was showing up in between periods and talking to the team, and still obviously very much a leadership. He comes out, he's wearing the C when they're getting the silvers, and so there's two captains out on the ice, and I don't know, was there a division there, or like?
No, I think it's, you got to just let McDavid wear the C, because you're not playing.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not in, so it's like, yeah, let it happen. I just, yeah, it's funny though, man. Like, just having this conversation, like I've thought about this a lot over the past like year of like when is there going to be a time where I'm still going to be wearing this? Am I going to be 40 and wearing this? Right. I'm still going to want to play probably.
Yep.
If the team will have me, but like, is that still the right move? Like, and what'll be the reaction? Like when you saw like Austin Matthews and John Tavares switch the captains for A's, like when they switched it, and I was like, if that fucking matters in your locker room, like, what do you, like, you guys have bigger problems,
right?
Like, really, at the end of the day, like, what are you worried about? What's that, like, your roles on the team aren't going to shift, or is it just, or maybe it does on the Leafs, and maybe it's like, maybe it's a dictatorship of whatever the captain says goes, but it's not the way it works on our team. Like,
yeah, and I would like to think that wasn't what it was. I think it had more to do with sort of Tavares' personality and being under the microscope in Toronto, and him not necessarily being a guy that likes to go and like talk about, let's break down the game 25 minutes after just a heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, you think Austin Matthews is that guy?
He doesn't seem to be, but I think he's a little bit more like water off the duck's back kind of thing. Like, he can kind of shake it off a little bit
he
more.
He sure seems like he doesn't give a crap in Toronto, but when you see him play for USA, man, if he could play like that for Toronto, they're gonna freaking win the Stanley Cup.
Well, you'd like to think so, right? Like, and again, but then it's also the perception of what like, did he do anything really magical in that game against Canada? Like,
just didn't give up on plays.
Right, he had a couple back checks and stuff, right? But he does that consistently in Toronto, right? And you look at his takeaways and his defensive metrics and all of those things, but yeah, he doesn't get the sort of, because the Leafs aren't winning, right? Like,
yeah.
And then again, I think that's that sort of, what have you done for me lately? And so to move off and try to move towards a bit more lacrosse talk, the last question that I have for you is that sense of like, the game was Canada's to win, and they did everything, as you said, they did everything but win the game. The Bandits have obviously struggled this year to get that victory. Has there been a game or even a couple of games where you felt like we dominated that game, we did what we were supposed to do, and we didn't get the W?
Honestly, dude, I feel like this last game.
Yeah, Vancouver.
I feel like against Vancouver. I feel like we had a good game plan. Like, I saw our offensive game plan. It looked really good, man. And
certainly in the first half. And
our defensive side of things is like, I thought we were now finally getting on the same page for how we're gonna move and shift as a D. I know with Kurt Malosky, their coach, though, like he basically runs things until you stop it.
Right.
So he's like, why would I change what we're doing if you're not stopping it, right? So it's like, when you watch the first quarter, man, these freaking up picks in the middle. He just kept running these up, like it was they were still having a line change. They would get the ball to the far side, and the off-ball player would just run up pick, flash middle, catch the ball on the wrong side, and put it in. They scored like 5 goals that way in the first. And it's like, yeah, you have to make adjustments to those. So we did, obviously, but they still got some goals. But it's like, the adjustment we made was the low guy just stays with the guy that's up picking. So sometimes we call it flex. If there's on the 3-man side, if there's an up pick, from the low to the middle, then the middle guy will open and the low guy will take the guy that's cutting back door. But what we did was we switched that. So if that guy up picks, you just stay with the guy that up picks, and the guy that was up picked is now shooting out at the guy that's going back door. And it helped because then it's just basically it gives up a cross crease, but then as long as Vino knows that there's going to be a cross crease pass, then he'll get there. He just doesn't want guys coming down the middle with the ball. So it's kind of shitty that they roasted us on that so many times early. But then we shut it down, and I thought we played a really solid sort of 3/4, a little more than 3/4 of a game.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, again, 11. It's not your goal. Your goal is 10, right? To keep them at 10 or below, or even below 10. But you look at it, and it was 1/4 of 4, 1/4 of 2, 1/4 of 4, and 1/4 of 1, right?
Yeah.
Like those. I mean, to me, that seems like that's defensive, and especially, I mean, historically in these last 5 years, but certainly the last 3, that's a recipe for a Bandits victory. And this isn't to throw it all on the offense, but the offense sort of has come out, and I mean, again, another like run of goals in the first half.
Yeah.
And that sort of has been sort of the trait, and then get to the second half, certainly since, I mean, maybe Colorado, but certainly Philly, and certainly even Halifax getting the win, and just sort of drying up in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, I mean, I don't want you to get in, and there's certainly no throwing slings or anything at the offense, but the defense, does it look like when you're looking down, are they making adjustments on your offense, or is it just offense kind of trying to do something different? Like what I mean, are you able to attribute it, what are the offensive guys saying?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because I'm watching, and you're watching like tendencies, and I can't really figure out why we're scoring in the first half and why we're not scoring in the second. A lot of our goals were like rebounds and things, but I asked Dane, and I was like, dude, like, what is going on, man? You guys just roast teams in the first half. You put up like 8 goals, 8 goals every time, and then just 2 in the second half every time. And he's just like, he thinks that they're not making enough adjustments to the other team's adjustments. So our offense is coming in with a game plan. It works, and then the defense is making an adjustment, and now our offense hasn't adjusted to their adjustments yet, or they're finding it slow to adjust.
And so you were just saying, Molosky, he kind of does the thing until it's being stopped.
Yeah.
Is it just not recognizing that this is now being stopped?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, and again,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's either it's being recognized and they're trying to change and the guys aren't changing, or it's not being recognized. And I don't know. It's like they have to figure out something that, I don't know. They got to get on the same page up there, because second halves are just not going to work if you're doing that. But at the same time, Saskatchewan beat these guys. They held them to 8.
Yep.
There's no reason we couldn't have held them to 8.
Sure.
Right. So it's like you can't. There's no pointing fingers or anything, but there's something is different in the second half, the last couple of games, and in particular this season, where we're not just keep stacking them.
Sure. And so, I mean, is that something different? Like, you had that, like, a real chance there at the end on the...
man.
Like, I mean, it sort of seemed that you... Yeah, look at that. That's how incredible it was. Your head is going to explode. Like, I mean, we're talking Nathan McKinnon. We're not talking Nathan McKinnon missing a wide open net. But, I mean, you had a chance. And it seemed to me, and the TV didn't pick it up all the way, but it seemed to me that maybe you were thinking about going off, and that was sort of like, I'm going to let them think that I'm leaving, and then it was just like a back cut down.
Yeah. Oh, the TV didn't really pick it up.
No, I mean, they saw the end, right?
I guess it was mostly focused on Dane with the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I think it's also just because, so that what it was by design, like to look.
By me, it's like, you know, you play like this game enough, you see enough little tricks, and it's like, we were down a man, so then I obviously gave the ball to Dane, and I kind of go through the middle a bit and like just, you know, try to draw some attention. And then I just did the old fake jog off. So you start jogging off, and then as soon as I saw my defender turn to go, I guess it would have been a triple on Dane, because Dane was now trying to take it to the net. My defender left. As soon as I saw him leave, I can now attack the net.
Yeah.
If he doesn't leave, if he stays with me, I have to just finish the change, and maybe an Oga will come on. But he left me, and I attacked the net, and Dane dumped it off to me, man. Glorious chance. I was on my wrong side, and Del Bianco was good, right? So I didn't really have an angle. So I just went like short, far, and then I was coming back, and I just had a wide open net, man. Just had to put it in there, and I actually haven't watched it again, and I feel like I was kind of checked a little bit, and the ball sailed a little bit high. I would hate to watch the video back and just see that I missed it high, but I feel like that, you know, when Cornwall came back to me and was on me, it was just, there was just no angle. I was like, I was going to jam this 5-hole, but Del Bianco was so good 5-hole. I'm like, I need to get him moving. And I tried to put it back on that far side, and I had the net. I could see the net, and I went to put it there, and the ball just went over the net. But like,
did it go over, or did it hit the post?
No, mine went over, and then it went to
Bucky.
Oh, okay. Unless it did hit the post, but I don't think it did.
I mean, again, it was,
maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
But then it went to Bucky, and he had a rebound chance too. And the one right before that, man, McKay. This was play was by design. McKay comes around, and he had that whole open top right corner, and he just rings it off the crossbar.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, dude! Like, and then it goes back the other way, and then Curtis Dixon scores from, you know, the boards on a greasy worm burner through traffic that you were talking about, where Vino gets like animated, right? And he gets like,
and I mean, and I think that must be a culmination of a number of things, right? Like,
yeah, I think
I've never seen I mean, I've been paying close attention to Matt Vince now for 4 years, but I've never seen him that animated after a goal.
I think it's the fact that he played incredible, and we all played what we feel like was good enough to win. And that was the like nail in the coffin. And he's just like, he's upset. He's like, get out on him. And then like, he's like, why aren't we doubling? Why aren't we getting like, he's like saying things that I agree with. But at the other side of that is like, okay, the shot clock was running down. Like, if, you know, he's shooting from the wall, it's Paul Dawson closing a gap coming up from the crease on Curtis Dixon. Maybe not the best position to be in, like force that outside shot through traffic. Hopefully it, you know, misses wide or hits Vino, and then we have 12 seconds to make a push and try to score a goal and tie it up. Like, you know, on one hand, yes, Vino's right. Maybe we should have got out on him and doubled him and pushed and pushed on him. On the other hand, like, he was taking a shot early enough that we could have got that ball and went the other way. So it was no need to panic, and I think that's just tough it went in.
And so this is where, I mean, I know it's hard to be in the head of Matt Vince, but I'm always so curious about a goalie as he's sitting there. He doesn't have as many opportunities to sort of talk on the bench and sort of express maybe some frustration with each other and stuff like that. And I'm sure he's looking down, and I mean, he's feeling frustrated, and that last goal obviously was a bit of that release of frustration, because again, hadn't seen him be like that before. Was there frustration on the bench leading into those last couple of shifts? Like, were people feeling like, I know you're trying to win, and again, you guys are feeling like you're playing well and you're within one goal, and it's like, okay, like, let's get this and do this. But at the same time, each time you come off the floor in either direction, like, things just quite weren't happening. Like, is that how it was feeling at the end?
Well, yes and no. Like, when like Dahoka took that moving pick penalty that put us, you know, in the box for 2 minutes with 3 minutes to go in the game, right? Down one. It wasn't panic, but it's like there's urgency,
right? Like,
that we need to make stops and we need to make a play here. Like, it still feels, you know, 1 minute in lacrosse is a lot of time.
And we've seen it time and time again.
So there was no like panic or whatever, but it wasn't a great spot to be in.
Yeah. But then on the other side of it, right? Like, so, I mean, I don't know, that to me, that didn't feel like a penalty. It should have been maybe just a possession change.
Well, same with Dane's penalty. This was like, we had 2 offensive pick penalties.
Yeah.
Like, those are so rare. How do you get 2 in the same game?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Dahoka hit him. Dahoka hits hard without hitting hard. Like,
he's just
solid, man.
Yeah.
So like that, like, Dahoka's not like hitting that guy hard. He's not like going out of his way and leaning forward and like hitting him the way like I would need to hit somebody. He's just standing his ground and just launches that guy.
Well, it's just that it's like you kind of expect when the two meet, right? There's going to be some give on both sides.
Dahoka's side don't give.
It really doesn't.
No, man.
And I say it to some, again, in youth sports and stuff like that, there's lots of physical differences in size and stuff like that. And kids come to the penalty box and they're all frustrated. And I'm like, hey, that was a tough penalty. Like, but you can't be doing that in this level. But that was also 2 minutes for just being bigger and stronger.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
yeah. You caught a guy off guard and you were bigger and stronger.
Yeah,
and if anything, that should have been a possession goal.
Yeah.
Same with Dane's. It should have been possession. So, and even Dahoka's light picks, like when we're like when we're in practice together and he's just setting a light pick, it'll knock the wind out of you if he catches you not looking. Like, he's just so good at it, and he's so solid that it's like, it's just tough that it happened at that time in the game.
Yeah. And now, so it's getting to the end and everybody's pushing. I mean, is that what, and again, not to throw stones or whatever, but Desnu running down and going 1-on-4 with, like, did he talk about what was going through his mind on that play? Because I think everybody kind of was expecting him to pull out and like.
What did he end up doing? Did he end up pulling it eventually? Or did he turn it over?
He turned it over, unfortunately, right?
Dang.
Like it was just like,
I
mean, and I know
plays.
he's trying, right? But like, did he think that there was just less time on the clock than what he thought?
Maybe. I don't know. I actually didn't talk to him about it.
Sure.
Just JT is not afraid to call people out in the room afterwards. So, he's like, Doka can't have that penalty. And Mitch, like, love your passion, love your aggressiveness, but can't have you going 1-on-4.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, back and forth. Well, I was thinking this or I was thinking that.
Sure.
It's just.
The dudes are like,
can't have you doing it, right?
When JT says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And so that takes me, I guess, to where we want to maybe finish off this podcast and maybe start looking at next week and stuff. But, like, what's the vibe in the room these days now, right? Because, there's not much more wiggle room here, right? And
I know.
and they talked about it on the TV, the gauntlet that you guys have left, where maybe at the beginning of the season it looked like maybe a Toronto team that was going to be there for the taking. But seemingly they bounced back against Colorado. You got Challen Rogers on a heater beyond all heaters with 4 games in a row with a hat trick, and is it like backs against the wall, do or die now, or is that dangerous to get into because then the next loss is that's it?
Yeah, then it feels panicky, right? And like with trade deadline coming up, who knows what the moves are going to be? We got to put ourselves in a position that if we are going to make a move, that it's going to be beneficial to our team, and that it's not like, hey, we're unloading people,
right?
We don't want to be in one of those situations. So the way I looked at it, when I first looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year, when I saw Sask and I saw Vancouver and sort of this close ones like this, it was like, okay, got to split with Vancouver, got to split with Sask. Those are both like going to be top tier teams. Got to split with those guys. Got to split with Colorado, right? And it's like, okay, we're now in a position to split with Vancouver and split with Colorado, but we can't. We no longer have time to split with Saskatchewan because losing those ones to Philly and Halifax early and Ottawa is like it's taking away those things. So it's like we got to start making grounds on things that we originally thought if we go 1-on-1 with, that's a good that's a good stat line. But now it's like we got to start stealing games out of these things. So it's like San Diego and 2 is Sask, right? Toronto. It's like we got to start stacking these because we're going to be in trouble otherwise.
And so we're in the middle of this 6-game segment, right? But it's 1-3 in this 6-game segment, where the last 6-game segment was you finished 3-3, and you're just like, okay, that kind of like, well, obviously we would have felt better, but whatever. But I got to think that if you can manage to get to 3-3 in this 6-game segment, it's going to feel pretty good.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I don't know, but I think we got a good chance, man. Like again, like we said, we're still just feels like we're just coming into our, like we're 10 games into the season, and it feels like we're playing like it's game 4 maybe.
Sure.
Where we like where we are right now, where we should be at like game 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So it's like we're 5 games behind of what we should be. Like we're like our systems are just now getting dialed. But it's also exciting because our systems are getting dialed.
Yeah.
We're like now feeling each other out pretty good. We're knowing where each other are going to be. Like everybody's bodies feel really good right now. So I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting weekend.
Yeah, so it is. This past weekend, there wasn't a lot of lacrosse. There was you guys playing on a Friday night, and then there was another Saturday night game, and then I think maybe 2 on Sunday or something like that. So not a lot of scoreboard watching, not a lot of things moving. But this weekend coming up, lots of lacrosse is happening. You guys got 2 games, and for us in this neck of the woods, the big game always is Toronto and Buffalo, and it's going to be a slobber knocker, as I love to say. How do you prepare for a 2-game weekend that's just this so important?
Honestly, dude, it sounds so cliche, but like we need to only think about like Saskatchewan on Friday.
Yeah.
Right. We have Sask first, and it's like that's where our mindset needs to be. That's not going to leave a ton of time to prepare for Toronto, but there's things that you do all season or all week that are going to do crossover stuff, like that's going to prepare for both, right? Just again, watching lacrosse in general is going to be good, and having practice, us focusing on our systems and not necessarily on what they're going to do, that cross pollinates, that does both games, right? So things like that. So it's just going to be those deciphering their power plays and picking up their tendencies of what they like to do, and then in-game adjustments.
And then, I mean, it's always something, because back to back, obviously there's going to be, some injuries or whatever else, or even just a body that doesn't hold up well. Do you feel like Buffalo's positioned well to be able to give, maybe take a guy out of the lineup, save him for Saturday, or vice versa? We're going to save you for Saturday. You're not going to play Friday. I know that's stuff that coaches are talking about, but when you look at your lineup and the depth of that, does that, okay, we kind of get one here and then try to get by on Saturday, or save it? When you look at your roster, you're feeling great about it?
Yeah, I think JT always tries to put the best team he can on the floor. When you can get a little bit ahead in the standings, then you can start playing with we have guys that are sitting on the practice squad that he wanted to get in this year, right? Where I'm starting to sit there and go, I don't know if you're going to get those guys in now.
Yeah.
But it's we have Dooley played, and Belter played, and Whitty played, and these guys that have sort of been in and out of the lineup, so it's going to be interesting. I think Dylan Robinson's going to be coming back, so we'll see a shakeup. And I know JT likes to play with the offense, either 4 lefties or 4 righties based on where the benches are mostly. Yeah. So the lineup is always sort of a mystery until game day, and but we have an idea of what it's going to look like. We'll probably end up with some version of 7, 9, and 1 with a face-off guy. So it'll be something like that. And we
haven't talked about the Milkman in a while, but that's because we haven't really had to. I mean, he's been doing his job.
Yeah,
right?
He's great, man. He's been doing great. I wish we could give him more help. When the ball squeaks out, it's it kind of comes out on the defensive end, and we're a bit hesitant to run in from the defensive end. When he goes forward with it, we're a little more able to run in and get that, because you don't have to worry about them getting a breakaway off that, right? So, but mostly when he wins it to himself, we can be outlet passes for him, and that's sort of the best version of face-offs.
Sure. And so, to prepare for a practice Wednesday?
Practice Wednesday. I miss Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week at school. So.
Yeah. Because you're coaching. Are you going to be coaching?
I'm coaching Wednesday, and then we have practice Wednesday night, and then I'm going to stay down because I got to drive to Buffalo Thursday anyway, so there's no point of driving back. And then game Friday.
And so shoot around Friday.
Shoot around Friday morning. Yeah. It'll be shoot around Friday morning. I think there's a shoot around Saturday morning in Toronto too.
Well, and that's the nice thing. It's Hamilton now. So will you guys get the hotel in Hamilton, or will you get the hotel in Buffalo?
Or just we got the itinerary already. It's going to be in Hamilton. Yeah. So we'll drive home after the game, and then drive to Hamilton after the game, and then we'll be right there.
Will you stay as a team then? Is that sort of a bit of a mandate right now?
Treat
it almost like a
road game. Yeah. I think that'll be it. Also, guys just get better sleeps. I think a lot of the guys with new kids and families and things. I think it's nice for them to, as much as they want to be with their families, it's nice to just get that sleep, right? Yeah. But man, just bodies are all feeling good. I got my new Vivo barefoot shoes I wear now, so my feet all feel better, way better, and so hopefully back-to-backs aren't going to be too tough for us here.
Well, and so, if you've been following along, and the big theme this year has been, let's see how the story goes, right? And this is a big weekend for what the story is going to be for the Buffalo Bandits here in 2026. So if you're interested, follow along. It is Friday night at the KeyBank Center. It's going to be a packed house, and you've dropped a couple on the home floor. So I'm sure the boys are going to be super geared up for that one. And again, of course, playing against Saskatchewan, sitting at the top of the table.
Yeah, we know that they're going to come, like everybody, they come at us hard, but we know that they have something that they feel like they need to prove in that locker room with us. I'm sure of it. So
have you guys been able to identify what it is? I know they were a good team, and they've been a good team for the last couple of years, but what is sort of got them kind of where they are right now?
They're athletic. They're shooting the ball pretty good, but they're just athletic on defense with a big, strong goalie in net. And you've seen, like teams of like Toronto in the past, like certain Toronto teams and things, these big, athletic, aggressive, pressuring defenses, like they wear you down during the game. But there is opportunity with a team that pushes out as far as they do. There's opportunity to create gaps and spaces and things. So we got to find those gaps and spaces and then beat Frankie Scigliano in net. And yeah, I don't know, man. I felt confident against Vancouver. I feel confident going into the SAS game. Like, I feel good about our team. I know our record isn't reflecting that, but like, these are the things, like in the past, we found ways to win these games, and right now we are not finding ways to win them. So we got to start finding ways to win them. We got to start scoring more goals than them in the fourth quarter.
It's all so simple. And then Saturday night, it's up the highway, and you're in up the QEW, and you're in Hamilton. And again, here's a Toronto team that I think everybody kind of thought they were a year away from where they're, a little bit ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got, obviously when you got Challen Rogers scoring hat tricks one after the other, Latrell back in the lineup, and then obviously their young guys are shooters and real players.
Yeah, they're athletic. They move so much, man. Like,
and again, friend of the show, I think a little bit, because we've talked about
Dan
him.
helps a ton.
Yeah,
Dan
right?
Dawson, yeah.
Like having him behind the bench.
He's too smart. He's so smart.
And God, man, that guy can communicate, right? Like
yeah, and he lives the lifestyle, man. He eats clean, he works out, he stretches, he drinks water, he does all the things you need to do. So if your coach is doing that, like, you better be doing that.
Yeah, and so a big rivalry game, and hopefully coming in looking to make it a 2-0 weekend, which is Bandit fans travel really well up to Hamilton, but I think the people are starting to really, at least in my circle and area, they're really starting to pay attention to this team. And I think everybody's a little bit surprised to see where they are right now, and to get that big win against to come back against Colorado after getting smoked, and then to get that win, they've got to be feeling pretty good. So the story's getting really interesting. It's not the climax just yet, but hopefully it's not the denouement after this weekend either.
Oh God. Honestly, I just feel like playing lacrosse again right now. Like it's my sigh and my oh God is coming from like
it's a week away.
I gotta work tomorrow and I gotta do stuff. Like, I'm ready to go play.
Well, and I would imagine that's how a lot of the guys are feeling on the team right now, and hopefully that's something that's going to come out to the forefront. So Friday night, first game, 7:30, KeyBank Center. You want to be in your seats. You want to be there because it's going to be the game of the year. And if you can't, obviously, watch it on TV, TSN Plus, NLL Plus, ESPN Plus, Johnny Gertler on the radio doing his thing. It's always great. Banditland, win, lose, or draw, you guys have always been fantastic, and the boys need you more than ever right now. So let's fill that place, blow the roof off it, and let's get rolling on this season.
Right on.
Go Bandits.
Man. Let's go.